Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison, and this is another episode of Maintaining Frame. This is number 52, by the way. Wammen demands access to all-male nude resort. Wammen most affected. I took a little bit of liberty with that, a little bit. Yeah, because originally we were going to call her a Karen, but then we thought, well, you guys might get confused and think we were talking about the Karen.
Karen demanding access to an all-male nude resort. I think that if she wanted, she'd just hide in the bushes with some binoculars.
Yeah, or probably wouldn't make a big deal out of it, and men would probably let her. So they're like, okay, fine, if you want, you're okay.
Whatever.
You're one of the good ones. So we're gonna be looking at this article from queerty.com. I don't know what queerty is. And I will show you guys really quick. Woman sues all-male nude resort for discrimination after allegedly harassing patrons and trashing owner. So that should be...
also, shouldn't that be alleged discrimination if they're going to go with allegedly harassing patrons?
Yeah, it would in a world where the media was somewhat trustworthy. I don't know how reputable this outfit is, but I guess we'll find out.
I imagine that it's just judging from the title, I think it's probably an LGBTQ plus, maybe just LGBT or GBT, GLBT.
GLBT.
Or G, no. Wait, B comes first, wouldn't it be B?
BLT?
GLT?
Like the bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich? Yeah, that's what
I want. I think I'm part of that party, except
that's what I that's my gender.
Yeah, I'll just have to have some rice bread. Okay. So I think it might be more of a gay-orientated publication, maybe. I would imagine Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, if it's an all-male nude resort, I don't want to assume, but that sounds like something that would be. Well, we'll see. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but
let's not jump to conclusions about this.
Let's not. Let's not do any.
I won't give you spoilers. I won't give you any spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, have you read this already?
Yes, I've read it already. I won't give you any spoilers so that you can enjoy the full frontal reveal.
Oh, the full Monty. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I chose this because it's just, it's a little lighter. Yeah. It's probably going to yield a much shorter show, which some of you do like to see.
Yeah.
Because they're more shareable.
It's more like a cocktail wiener as opposed to a sausage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the full long length of sausage. Just
about as much as Oprah would like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To make face cream out of.
But it does have something like a deeper quality to it, because this is sort of a contention over the progressive stack in action, shall we say. So we shall see whose victimhood reigns supreme. Already we see a little bit of a slant towards the woman, because the discrimination isn't alleged, but apparently the harassment and trashing the owner is alleged.
Sure. Or is alleged. So
Unless they really just wanted to go with the absurdity of it. Like, this woman wants access to an all-nude resort. Like, all-male nude resort. Okay?
Yeah.
She wants to have access to a whole bunch of men just hanging around naked. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I just find this actually sort of amusing in the context of some arguments against trans women.
I was going to say, is this woman cis? Well, I guess we should wait.
Yeah. Sorry. No spoilers.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is a cis woman because they're calling this person a woman and not a trans woman. That's the only thing I have to go on. But we will see. So before we get started, Allison, you want to tell them the spiel?
Yeah, I'll tell you the spiel. Okay, so if you want to send us a message at any point during the show, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. I really appreciate the tips this month because we have some medical expenses in my house that are little daunting, and I'd like to be able to anything to help make sure that we can cover the Badger Cave expenses, so then I can cover the medical expenses that I have. And so anyway, feedthebadger.com/justthetip.
Yeah.
And another question, I am at the stage of requiring an edit on my story, for those of you who've been sort of following along that storyline. And I'm thinking about doing a fundraiser for that. Tell me if you think that's a good idea. I'll probably do it anyway, but I'll give you an option for some feedback. But anyway, tell me about that. And if you're interested in being a beta reader, again, you can send me a message at badger@feedthebadger.com, I believe will work. Badger@feedthebadger.com, and I'll get you set up for that, and you can take a look. Yes, that is the joke that you do every time.
Yeah, I know. I can't help it.
Beta.
Okay, so if you would like to be a beta reader, then send a message to Badger at feedthebadger.com, and if you'd like to send us a message, do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. All right, there we go. That's the spiel for today. So let's get into this.
All right, so I just want to say one more thing. But I'm glad to see you guys on YouTube and on Rumble and Twitch, even on occasion. But I would ask, if you haven't done it already, you might want to follow us on Twitter and watch the stream on Twitter, because I think Twitter is about to blow up. I'm serious. I don't know if you've heard, Allison. Have you heard that Elon Musk is going to be bringing on Tucker Carlson and other content creators? He's going to make Twitter into more than just a place where people, use however many characters, 140 characters, to complain. But they're going to be able to do live streams. They're going to be able to make content, videos, and all that. So I think that it's going to be huge because a lot of people use it, and we're on there. Our streams go to Twitter, so you may as well watch it. And Tucker Carlson's going to be doing a show on Twitter now that he's left Fox News or was kicked out or whatever. So it's going to blow up, and I think we should be there when that happens. And Twitter is a free speech, let's say, bastion. So we'd probably be safer. So yeah, if you guys want, I would suggest follow at HoneyBadgerBite on Twitter and watch the streams there, because it's possible that YouTube might become too unwieldy. I understand they passed new rules or policies or something. I didn't look into it on YouTube that are upsetting a lot of people, so I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Follow us on Twitter at HoneyBadgerBite. If you don't have a Twitter account because you were avoiding it because it was indeed a cesspool of just disease and rot, but I think that Elon Musk is going to take it and breathe new life into it and make it a much better space. So maybe go make an account if you don't already have one on Twitter. Definitely follow us at HoneyBadgerBite on Twitter. So anyway, that's it. I'm trying to get my account turned back on. I may have to just make a new one, but I'm supposed to hear back from them in a couple of days about my account on Twitter too. So, because I was banned years ago. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, and once again, please send those super chats to us because we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It makes my day. So know that you are making a woman happy. That's awful, isn't it? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, don't do it. Actually, don't do it now.
Don't do it for gynocentric reasons.
Don't do it for gynocentric reasons. Do it because you want to send me something that will torture me.
Yeah. Pretend she's a man and then do that.
Pretend she's a man and then do it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's do this.
Let's get into the story. So, Queerty.com. Women sues all-male nude resort for discrimination after allegedly harassing patrons and trashing owner. A Florida Keys cisgender woman, so it's a cis woman, and the fact that they're using that language tells me that this is probably let's say, a website for alternative lifestyles, says that she is the victim of discrimination after being denied a stay at an all-male clothing-optional resort geared toward gay and bisexual men in Key West. That's what I
Yeah,
thought
yeah. I
too.
didn't want to give you any spoilers,
No, but
but yeah.
I was like, look, I mean, it's not that straight men can't be around other straight men, but it's not like something that comes natural. I remember when I was in high school, and for physical education, we had swim class, and whenever there was swim class, people were just expected to just shower naked, like all the men, right? And it was weird because I'm like 15. That's like totally weird to me. But when I heard about
Hmm.
this, I was like, oh, that sounds like a bathhouse type thing, where gay men go to meet and greet, let's say.
Yep.
So, um,
And
but
greet the
anyway,
meat. Okay, but
so this is a
the
gay space for gay men, and there's a
yes,
cisgender woman that's being discriminated against.
yes, and again, I have to mention the argument against trans women in women's bathrooms. Okay, nobody's going to say to this woman, "No, you can't go in because oh, you're going to immediately start raping men."
Mm-hmm.
Um, although, I mean, honestly, she could go in and immediately start groping them or making
I
them
mean,
otherwise uncomfortable.
yeah, I'm sure they would be. I mean, first of all, they don't know her. It's not because they're gay. It's because she's a stranger, and she's just. I mean, if that were to happen, but I would like to know why she would be making this demand. But I guess we'll wait. I'll let the
Because
story
she's a
tell me.
pervert.
Huh?
Like, wait, okay, okay. Of all of the buffet of options of why this woman would be making this demand, I'm guessing because she wants to go into an area with
Mm-hmm.
a probably a high preponderance of attractive men, and just enjoy the view, shall we say? I mean,
Yeah,
let's just put it
maybe. I
down to
mean,
brass tacks. Like
yeah, it could
the
just
idea that
be
she's doing it,
for
she's
personal
just a pervert
gratification.
to
Yeah.
her personal gratification.
Wait,
Because
there
I
are no
cannot
female
see.
perverts, Allison. Those don't exist. You're talking about Greek mythological creatures like the chimera. There's no such thing as a female pervert. We all know that that's always men.
Mm-hmm. And she doesn't even have to identify as a man or attempt to look like one. She can just
Mm-hmm.
demand that she occupy this space where men are in, specifically to enjoy the bodies of men, and she can demand to occupy this space and claim discrimination. And
Weird.
and this is credible.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, so but the story is all kinds of messy and stems from two previous incidents, reports the Keys Weekly. According to a complaint filed to the Florida Commission on Human Relations against the Island House Key West Resort, state resident Amina Chaudhry claims the business has a discriminatory policy that caters to male patronage over women, and she is seeking to have the policy reversed. So, this is another example of something that happens all the time. Men have a space for themselves. It doesn't matter if they're gay or straight. Just bear that in mind, right? But in this case, they're gay men which would normally like rank a couple of points up on the progressive stack, but gay men are pretty low on that totem pole compared to others mainly because they're men. And also because they're just gay and not like something, really out there like fucking, galaxy gender or whatever they have these days. So that means that they are still privileged, in particular because they're men. So, anyway, and whenever this happens, inevitably women come along and they're like, why are you excluding me? No matter what, apparently, even if it's a bunch of naked men that just want to be around a bunch of other naked men, that is still like upsetting to women. So, it's like, why am I not included? I don't know. You don't have a penis? And that's what I'm interested
This sort
in?
of
Like,
reminds me. Yeah, this sort of reminds me of something I remember vaguely about like a female, like an attractive woman who was like a journalist, and she went to a men's resort for men.
mm-hmm.
And I guess it really, really shocked her that the men that she approached weren't interested in having sex with her.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, I mean, uh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't live in that person's head, and I don't think I'd like to. So, all right. Anyway, Representing herself during an administrative hearing about the complaint, Chaudhry said she is seeking no monetary damages and only wishes to have any court costs and legal fees incurred covered by the resort's owners. So she just wants to make a point. I mean,
yes, she just wants to make a point.
She wants to make a point. So it's funny because, like, she is a woman. Like, imagine a man trying to do the same thing. I know that that's kind of a tired old, like, way of viewing things. But if a man went to a lesbian space where there were lesbian and bisexual women walking around naked, and he insisted that he be let in, and then he sued them or whatever, claimed discrimination. I mean, first of all, it would be national news. Like, everyone would know about it. There'd be thought pieces written all over the place, and everyone would, like, condemn this guy, and I would say rightfully so. But in this case, it seems like, oh, there's nuance here. We should probably look at the nuance, guys.
Over the nuance.
Get in that nuance. Get between those cheeks.
Let's excavate the nuance. And all the nuance is that we can't hold this woman to the same goddamn standard as we hold a man.
No,
if we're right, if a man did it, he would be laughed at. Okay. Honestly, he might get violence visited upon him.
He might. Exactly.
And he would 100% be labeled a pervert.
Absolutely, and he would lose his job, his livelihood, like everything, like 100%. And nobody would stand up for the guy. What?
No, nobody would stand up for the guy. Like, I guess, you know what? I don't even know if we would, because
he's still doing something wrong. I mean, like, so no, I wouldn't defend his actions. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would find that's beyond the pale. That's, like, ridiculous. Like, leave the lesbians alone.
This is sort of a thing that I've only really seen with women. And it's because of socialization and probably instinctual expectations of being protected. They will do the most appalling and sort of grotesque and cringy things with absolute self-righteousness.
Yeah.
Like, the moment that this sort of, like, this light bulb turned in my mind was when I watched a Karen. I don't even know if there's a word for this type of woman. She walked into a Tim Hortons, and they said that bathrooms were for customers only. She took a shit in her hand and threw it.
Really?
At the cashier, yes.
Why didn't she just buy a small coffee?
Because she was entitled to go to the bathroom or something. Entitled. Yeah, sure. So she takes a shit in her hand and throws it at the cashier. But what's astounding is that throughout this entire process, she didn't look like she was mentally ill or on drugs or stoned. She looked like she had whipped herself into a state of absolute self-righteousness. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what kind of mentality? Not just takes a shit in a Tim Hortons and throws it at the cashier. What kind of mentality does it? Thinking that they're in the right.
Mm-hmm.
Looking like you're not in you're not having a psychotic episode. You're not on drugs. Unless you consider self-righteousness a drug and entitlement a drug. But she just did this like, oh yeah, I'm in the right here. No, I think that if you're at any point in your life, you're taking a shit in your hand and you're about to fling it at somebody who makes minimum wage, doing anything for you, any kind of service, you are in the wrong. I cannot possibly see a scenario in which flinging feces at any kind of food service employee or any kind of a customer-facing employee is the correct thing to do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Can you? There's no scenario, and yet she managed to get into a headspace where this is like, yeah, this is absolutely the thing I should be doing. I am entitled to do this. This shit flinging episode is going to bring more morality into society. It's going to make things better. It's gonna set a standard of behavior that I'm like, how? And I've never seen that with men.
I thought that, like, poo and pee were, like, really good ways of making an argument. Weren't the philosopher kings of old doing that too? Like, I thought that I can't maintain this poker face.
Well, maybe Diogenes. How do you say his name? Diogenes.
Yeah,
that cynic that lived
Diogenes.
in a barrel. Diogenes, lived in a barrel and like masturbated. Maybe he would have. He might have done that. It's like,
Yeah.
I can just imagine Plato and Socrates having a discussion, and then just
Well, my good sir, allow me to retort. Fling. I mean, how are you supposed to change hearts and minds without using bodily fluids and excretions? But yeah, that.
Oh God. But that's the thing. My point is this: she did it with such a state of absolute self-righteousness, and this.
She thought she was going to get everyone to be like, "Ah, yes, well played."
Everyone clapped.
Well played, madam. Please use my laboratory.
Your argument is unimpeachable. It's unimpoopable. But this is a little bit less of a piquant statement, but no, nevertheless, there's a certain level of self-righteous chutzpah in alleging discrimination because a gay resort, a gay nudist resort, does not want a woman hanging around with men being nude. They're just like, no, we don't want that. Thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah.
And there's a certain amount of chutzpah to do this and not realize that, you're in the wrong.
Yeah. The word is it's chutzpah. It's Yiddish.
Chutzpah.
He's got a nice thing.
Chutzpah.
It's not so bad with the singing and the playing and the shaking of the tuchus.
The shaking of the tuchus.
You guys don't know, that's from Dewey Cox. It's a great movie. Walk Hard. I highly recommend it. It's hilarious.
You know what I've been watching recently? Or at least being forced to watch by my husband, Jonathan?
Mm-hmm. What?
These bizarre AI commercials.
Oh, I've seen a couple of those. Those are freaking nightmarish, man.
Yes.
Really, really scary. Like, I'm like, this is what the AI is going to do to us. It's gonna make nothing but endless commercials and turn our bodies into fucking puppets, meat puppets, to like entertain itself. It's oh my God, it's so,
you know what it is?
It's so fucking creepy. What?
You know what it is? It doesn't really have a sense of causal continuity or physical boundaries like we do.
No.
You know?
Yeah,
it starts to feel
nightmarish.
Because that's sort of I think that's the mental state we sort of go into in our dreams.
I was going to say that's what it looks like, because like none of the text is legible, and people's faces are distorted. It's like the Black Hole Sun music video by Soundgarden.
Yeah.
You know,
except that is actually less creepy. Have you seen I know this is completely off topic.
Okay.
But have you seen the video where Joe Biden invites Donald Trump over to eat spaghetti?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen where Trump goes into the ocean and he like captures like an octopus and brings it and feeds it to a bunch of other former presidents like Biden and Obama. And the whole time the octopus is writhing like it's alive, even though, they're eating it. And they cook it and everything. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not really worried. I'm not really worried about artificial intelligence. I think that people are making it into something that is far bigger than it really is. Like they're saying it's more advanced than the human brain. And I'm like, do you realize how complex the human brain is? But beyond that, I'm not worried about artificial intelligence at this stage. I'm worried about the people who make it and the people who program it and the people who their bias, whether conscious or not, gets into it. And that's what I'm worried about. So,
right.
But anyway.
Well, I know. The problem is that AI just doesn't really have that sense of causality, and it doesn't really have a sense of boundaries. Like that, this is a human being. These are the boundaries of the hands. These are the boundaries of the mouth. This is how this works. It's all just sort of an average of everything, right? And it becomes so really bizarre.
Yeah.
It's just and it doesn't like AI won't, at least right now, can never replicate the intelligence of having existed within a body. That kind of intelligence is tactile and geometric.
Sure.
And you can see that it's completely absent, and also causal, and it's completely absent with AI. What it's doing is just creating averages.
Like
no.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not gonna be able to do what we can do.
Yeah, just ask the AI how it would feel if it hadn't eaten breakfast yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's a me. Okay.
All right. Anyway, back to the article. But anyway, that was a fun little diversion away from this cringe. So let's see. But the plot thickens. Yes.
As it always does.
According to the owners of Island House Key West, women are allowed and encouraged to stay at the resort. I assume it's supposed to be resort. It says report, but I don't think that's right. There are separate apartment units available for this purpose. However, Chaudhry was one of many non-guests at the resort who were asked to leave after the end of a Pride fundraising event held at its pool, and the resort returned to a clothing-optional dress code. The owner explained. So there was a Pride event, and
so this woman went to this Pride event, was asked to leave because she wasn't even a guest.
Yeah.
And then she whipped herself out into a self-righteous fury, and apparently has at no point in all of this stepped back and said, should I be doing this?
Yeah, I probably don't belong here, right?
Yeah. Especially since I haven't paid. I'm not even a guest.
So she was just in there? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she wasn't even a guest.
Wow. Indian women are thirsty. Okay, so anyway. According to the owners I read that part. There are separate apartment units available for this purpose. However, Chaudhry was one of many non-guests at the resort who were asked to leave after the end of a Pride fundraising event held at its pool, and the resort returned to a clothing optional dress code. The owner explained that Chaudhry was asked to leave because she was not a guest at the resort, not because she is a woman. Although female resort guests are not allowed into the clothing optional section of the building, the resort has an agreement with a resort next door to provide pool amenities for female guests.
Okay. Separate but equal, but on the other hand, do a bunch of men who are just interested in hanging out with other men naked. Mm-hmm. Do they really want a woman in there? Because women have this thing where they not only do they perv out, and they have absolutely no sense when they shouldn't be touching or staring or any kind of sense that their attentions are welcome or not welcome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, women are really bad for this, in my experience. And I think you can also see it in statistics. Yeah. They don't realize, or they don't accept that men might not want to be stared at or touched by them. So that probably these guys who are interested in other men aren't interested in that. That being made uncomfortable in that way. And then the other thing is that women have this tendency to go into a space, and I don't mean all women, but it's something that our society facilitates. So when I say women, realize I'm saying the legal entity woman, what women can do if they are so inclined because they're high on their own self-righteousness and entitlement, which is also encouraged. They'll go into this and they'll make claims of harassment or sexual assault. They'll literally walk into Wienerville and say there were wieners there.
Yep. And they were assaulting her.
And they were assaulting my eyes.
Yep. It reminds me of that. I think it was from India, actually, but it might have been like from Middle East. But it was like this feminist like PSA where the woman was like, I was raped, and then she basically like describes things that are not rape. And then so like, because some woman was laughed at by men like on a public bus or something, and she felt bad, and to this woman that's rape, like so. And again, like things that never happened for 500, Alex.
I did not get I did not get a sweet and sour plum sauce packet with my
Yeah.
spring rolls.
I was
raped.
raped.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh god.
As a classic.
And she had a whole bunch of men.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Oh man.
Yeah.
She supporting her throughout. Oh god, that was the cringiest. That really made me cringe. I remember that she actually attacked a man who was going through like might have been terminal cancer, and everybody rallied around her because because her accusation was so absurd. Like she just was standing there with him.
Yeah.
He disagreed with her on something, and then she immediately went to, "This man is sexually assaulting me," on camera. I mean, he'd been standing 5 feet away from her the entire time. Pretty sure that's how it went down. What was her name? God, this is
Richard
deep
Pierre
lore.
is saying it's Zarna Joshi, but I don't think that's her.
Joshi. No. I'm talking about
Zarna Joshi is the woman that was like messing with Humongous. I don't think that's the same woman.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm humongous, and then she was like, he's sexually harassing me with that stupid dad
this
joke.
Person.
This is the same person. This is the same person.
It is the person that said I was raped. Because I'm subscribed.
She later did.
As weird as it is, I'm subscribed to Zarna Joshi, because I want to see if she makes any more cringe. So.
Oh man, that is so superb cringe. Like,
she is.
Like she really does.
I mean that
actually,
that woman.
Yeah, but also I've noticed that. Well, maybe not noticed, but it seems like there's some excellent cringe coming from certain Indian women.
Yeah. Well, like India
also,
there's a lot of fighting over gender stuff there, because the men's issues advocates in India are like very active. It's like South Korea, but that means that the resistance is like just as bad.
Fierce.
So
yeah. And I don't want to say because there's also some men's issues advocates, female men's issues advocates in India as well.
Oh,
Quite a few.
I can think of what is her name that she made the movie about?
Deepak? No.
Yeah, Deepak something. I'm friends with her on Facebook too.
Terrible with names. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is
Bardwaj. That's it.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But also the woman who did Velma, whose name escapes me.
Mimi Kyling?
Yeah.
I only know because that's basically like a stage name. Her name's probably,
Yeah.
something a bit more complex.
But God forbid she actually be who she is. But that was some serious cringe too.
Oh yeah.
This bizarre combination of severe thirst and retissement, like that retissement. How do you say that word?
Reticent?
No, the resentment, but except
resentment?
in French, so it sounds more philosophical. Yeah.
Yeah.
The politics of resentment. So it's like severe thirst and yet resentful towards the men she's thirsty for, which I'm guessing where this woman is at too.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, back to this. So Chaudhary reportedly attended the annual fundraiser at Island House in 2021 and 2022, but last year she placed flyers around the resort claiming the owner was discriminatory. She was then denied a night stay at the resort. So she wanted to stay and they denied it to her. About the 2022 incident, owner Bobby Lohr testified that he felt affronted by her actions. And this is what he said before a judge. Quote, "Here was someone who was invited to the space and enjoying it, but while passing out literature to the detriment of our property and aggravating our guests," he said before administrative law judge John Van Lanningham. That sounds like a judge's name for sure. Quote, "We eventually had the police escort her off the property," end quote. A judge will now consider testimony from Chaudhary and the resort owners and draft a recommended order to the Commission of Human Relations. Audrey Wayne LaRue Smith, who is one of two attorneys representing Lohr, said that he is confident that the hearing went well and the judge has a good grasp of the circumstances. He added, quote, "We are persuaded that our methods and model of doing business are in full compliance with the law." So,
I think that was attorney Way Smith, not Audrey. I think you might have said Audrey, but I might have heard completely wrong. Yeah.
Let me see. Was that in the last?
Attorney
attorney Wayne LaRue Smith. I thought I said that right, but maybe I didn't. So it's attorney Wayne LaRue Smith.
Yeah, let's look at the comments. Let's see what these people are saying.
Well, Karen at the bathhouse. That sounds like a new musical starring Patti LuPone. Yeah, these guys are gay. Immediately go to musical. I don't even know who Patti LuPone is, or Lupone, or Luploni, whatever. Why is it so hard for hags to know when to leave the party?
Fag hags.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I'm pretty sure that's
yeah,
because
like these
you
guys are
allow
all
them
in the gay lingo, but that you know what? That's okay. That's okay. I'm not trying to harsh on their mellow. So, you know, you
well, they are
that.
pretty freaking mellow. Can you imagine if this was lesbians and a man?
Oh my god,
Jesus.
no, it wouldn't.
Oh my god, someone would have lost their life by now. They would not be so chill. This is like a bunch of guys going like, "Why you do this?"
Yeah.
Why are you gay?
Is it Jack Meoff says, is it just a ploy to get the bathhouse closed down? I mean, that's possible. Derek Northcutt says the Island House is not a bathhouse. It is a respectable bed and breakfast that caters to gay men. Your wish to discredit it with a reductive name is not only boring, but it is a thing Trump does. I've stayed there. It's nice. Well, that's a bit of overcompensation. First of all, why are bathhouses not respectable? I mean,
well, because presumably they have sex in them. But the other thing is that what does this have to do with Trump? Like nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so at least Greg is being honest.
Yeah.
It might not be a bathhouse, but as much sex goes on there as in any true bathhouse,
right? I mean,
having stayed there on 3 occasions.
Yeah, I'm sure that if you brought a black light into some of the rooms, it would look like a Jackson Pollock painting.
Yeah. I mean, okay, but fair enough. Maybe it's not just a bath, or it's not just a venue to have sex with other men. I mean, the next person tells us, says that he's an older gentleman and he likes that he's able to stay somewhere with his husband that, he doesn't get gruff. Although I wonder in Florida how much gruff you'd actually get. But regardless, what's the next comment?
Well, in this thread, because there's a couple back and forth.
No, this back and forth is not fun. Go to the next. Yeah.
And so it begins. Next up, Rhonda moves in to make a law banning clothing optional statewide, regardless of town acceptance. The only argument is that we insist on genital inspection. Sometimes hag's gonna hag. No fishing in the pool.
Yeah, they're using fish to refer to. Yeah.
This is a good one. So this is these guys they're all gay. So.
Gay.
I've stayed at Island House twice and felt extremely comfortable there. At what point can gay men enjoy the company of other gay men without having females present? For me, having come out late in life after a 34-year marriage to a woman, I relished being able to be with gay men. Never, DJ Bear. It doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. That women are going to want you. You're not allowed to have spaces to yourself.
Yeah, and you must include women, and women don't even have to try to be masculine or even tolerate the way that your environment is structured. That's the other thing. Like, women can go into wherever you are and demand you change everything.
Yep.
And you all you can do is comply, or you're a sexist. And I've seen this over and over and over and over again. Next one?
Okay.
Open-minded?
Open-minded says, I'm all for IH prevailing in court on this. I don't know what's IH stand for.
That's the hotel in question.
Oh, okay. But but the queer community gets all up in arms when a straight bakery wants to refuse service to a gay patron. This can be twisted to be a gay male owner refusing full accessibility to a public accommodation. So the owner is also gay, which, I mean, that makes sense. Like, why would he, open a business
I'm not
like
really
that?
surprised.
Yeah,
I'm not really
because he's
well,
like,
maybe he's a true capitalist. Who knows?
well, you can be a gay capitalist. Gay men do really
Yes.
well. So, but I could see that.
not-
Like, you're like, well, like you're looking for, a business that you can open that stands apart in some way, than a place that is open to gay people or LGBT people or whatever, and accommodates them in a way that goes above and beyond a normal resort or hotel. I could see that, because it's going to, I mean, it may not be like, it's going to be more niche, but maybe, but you're going to, you're going to corner that market, however small. So I think it makes sense to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, this can be twisted to be a gay male owner refusing full accessibility to a public accommodation. I want to think the provision of alternate pool facilities will cover IH's butt, but it could go either way. Won't surprise me if IH became a male members only facility selling $10 memberships to all who visit or stay there. Like they say, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Oh, cake jokes. Get it? Because of the bakery?
Yeah. Yeah, because of the bakery.
I think that any business should be allowed to discriminate for any reason. And I think it's the easiest way to do it. So you don't have to try to come up with some twisted, worm-infested reason why it's okay when you do it and not okay when someone you don't like does it. If you don't want, if you think it's wrong that a bakery, it's not a straight bakery, by the way. He's calling it a straight bakery, but it's not a straight bakery. It's just a bakery. And the guy he didn't have an issue making the cake, but there was content they wanted written on it or something that he wasn't, that disagreed with his personal religious beliefs. And
okay.
so it wasn't that he didn't say, we don't serve your kind here, which is basically how it's framed. He just said, for him it was an issue of his religious beliefs. Maybe it has something to do with gay marriage, but that doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, why did those men essentially feel the need
it was two lesbians.
Make this guy make this product for them? Like, you literally can't do that. So
it wasn't men. It was a lesbian couple.
It was a lesbian couple? All right. So still, same thing, right? But my point is, if you people should just be allowed to discriminate. And if you don't like the way that they're doing it, maybe you don't want to give them your money anyway. So what's the problem?
I know, especially the way you framed it. Because it was originally framed but also bakery, there are plenty of other bakers to choose from. If a bakery refuses to your custom, you're not completely cut out of a marketplace. So, I mean, it might be a bit different if, I don't know, a train station refuses to serve gay people. Or
some kind of public service.
Yeah, a larger public service, or even...
I don't think the government can do that. That's the thing. They have a limitation. But I mean, individuals that own their own...
No, but even if it was a private train service, there's a little bit of complexity there.
You could make an argument for that, sure. But...
I mean, if it's something that's more required for everyday living, if it's something that's more open to the public than an individual bakery, if it's like a bakery that owns every bakery in the U.S. and then they say, we're not going to serve you, then you don't have to walk down the street and find another baker. You can't, right? Then you're excluded from a service entirely. That's when I might say, hey, that's a problem. But when you can get the same service and have somebody who's happy to serve you and wants your money, why wouldn't you support that business?
Right.
If it's not a difficult thing to go, I'm pretty sure that they upheld the right of the bakery to discriminate, or at least not do something. And the other thing is that they're asking for a service that is actually separate from other customers. A gay person using a train is just sitting in a chair like every other customer.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, like that's
in
what I'm
this,
saying. If they went in and they just wanted a cake and they didn't like specify anything, he would have made it for them.
mm, yeah.
So it was the problem wasn't even the cake. The problem was the cake's message, I guess. Like, you know how you can write on them, or maybe like a decoration they wanted. Maybe they wanted two women. I don't know the story. All I know is what the media told us, which is, you know, the Christian homophobe refuses to serve gay couple, you know, because of his homophobic views. And I knew that story was fishy when I heard it, because I was like, but the guy's been in business for like decades. Are you saying that everyone in the city is like homophobic? Like, because they're all giving him business? But whatever. And I'd like to see
Okay.
them try that at an Islamic bakery. Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, it's also like forcing an Islamic bakery to make Christian symbols.
yeah,
Or graven
Jewish
like, images.
or Jewish stuff, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
or even worse would be, I mean, might still do it, but maybe make a drawing, because that's sort of against Islam too.
Yeah, could you,
You know, it's
put Muhammad's face on this cake? No. That would be, I'm telling you, like, but I'm okay with people refusing service on grounds like that, like, you know, whether it's religious or just their beliefs or whatever, right? So I mean, it's like we have. I think that people are just better off if they're allowed to say no, and I think that makes sense, because otherwise you're basically just engaging in, you know, coercion and slavery in a way. So anyway, so open-minded
Winemaker.
did a long-winded thing that basically means, look, you know, you should just let them refuse service, and let the straight bakery refuse service too, whatever that is.
well, at least there's a logical consistency there.
Yeah, right. And
Gay
I
men
know
are
that he's
still
wrestling
men.
with it. So
No, he's not wrestling with it. He's asserting it. Like, he's saying this, needs to be logical consistency.
oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, next
All
one.
right, last one. Winemaker says, really, why would a female want to go to a resort exclusively for gay men, other than to cause trouble? Hopefully I'm not missing something here. There are places strictly for men, and there are those strictly for women. No opposites allowed, and by the way, it's legal. Actually, there aren't many places for men.
No,
There
not
really
really.
aren't. I mean, like, even like male locker rooms for professional athletes are not strictly for men. Like,
For men.
female reporters
Yeah,
go in
women.
there all the time. You know, at least they used to. I don't know if they still do. So
I mean,
there really aren't
this
any
is so
places for men.
unfair.
What?
Yeah, this seems so unfair. And I know that whenever they do a non-gender inclusive washroom, it's always the male washroom.
Yeah, of course, of course.
You know,
Yeah. When you say a
and
not,
it's never the
you
female
mean like
washroom.
when they're trying to make
I mean, a gender
a
non-gender
gender
inclusive.
neutral bathroom. It's always the men's
A
bathroom.
gender
that gets
neutral. It's
converted.
always the men's bathroom that gets
Yeah.
converted.
Yeah.
If they want to do like a binary bathroom, again, it's always the men's bathroom that gets converted. It's always men who have to make space. This
Yep.
is the first time I've ever seen cis women have to make space. And it's interesting to watch the reaction, considering how much space men have had to make for the last how many centuries for women. And when the shoe is on the other foot, boy, they can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them. Even the ones who are loudest about how they were entitled to men's spaces. Okay. Anyway, I thought this was an interesting sort of small
Apparently,
article.
that same bakery that like turned down that lesbian couple, they got targeted by activists demanding that they get, like, basically placing orders for penis-shaped cakes and devils blowing, like, sucking cocks and stuff like that, just like trying to trigger this guy. Again, you know, like, why? Like, why do you insist on forcing people to celebrate who you are? People you don't know, people you wouldn't give your money to. Like, why don't you just get on with your life? It's like, it's kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, that's the
And we
end.
still don't
Go ahead.
We still don't have a day to celebrate. Like Men's Day is not really about this.
No.
We still really don't have a day to just celebrate the men's contributions. Just the contributions that happen as a result of men's expendability. Like, or the sense that they should expend themselves in service of society, and our indifference to it. Like, we still don't have a day to recognize that. We got Memorial Day, but that's just for soldiers, and now it's basically for men and women. But we don't have a day for just recognizing how much our society relies on the men who allowed themselves to be treated as expendable in the creation of our infrastructure, in roads and trains and dams and tunnels and skyscrapers. You know, our entire society has a huge price tag in terms of men's lives. And we exist without ever once acknowledging that.
Yep.
I had this astounding exchange with this feminist. I sent this tweet and it said something like, I have a fantastic new idea, right? Why don't we, as a species, start protecting and providing for the people who give birth? I mean, I think that I realize that evolution hasn't figured that out for the human race.
Uterus havers? Birthing
Yes, I mean,
people?
evolution hasn't figured that out for the human race, even though it figured out the eye. But I think that could be make a species really successful. Our species really successful is if we protected and provided for women. And of course, this was facetious, but some woman was like, she's like, men have never protected and provided for something.
Yeah.
And so she's like she comes in with this huge chip on her shoulder. And she says, I ask her, when do you think men started to care about women? Because really that's the crux of it, right?
Yeah, it is.
All the feminist assertion is basically men didn't care about women. They don't care about women.
Yep.
They
Well,
don't
their
want
answer
to
is going
protect
to be
and provide
like
for women.
either they just started caring about women, they never cared about women, or they started caring about women in the 60s. But none of those obviously add up.
Yeah. And so I asked her, okay, so and her response was never.
Mm-hmm.
Men have never cared about women.
Of course.
Never.
Well, it's the only thing you can say because you have to double down.
Yeah, pretty much. And so I said, okay, so how are you going to deal with the fact that men don't care about women? You know, what is your solution?
Mm-hmm.
If men hate women so much and they just don't want to protect or provide for women. And she basically said, I live my life without men. And I asked her, what the hell does that look like? And so far, I have had no response to that.
Mm-hmm.
None. None whatsoever.
Of course.
And the thing is that she's essentially, what she means when she says she's living a life without men is that she's not in a relationship with a man.
Yeah.
Oh, good, because I wouldn't want a man to be in a relationship with her. But she certainly lives with all of the utilities.
That men provide.
All of the safety that men provide as police, and also the soldiers that establish this system of plenty and stability. I mean, people don't seem to understand that our society is built on the backs of World War I and World War II and the men who died in it. And it was men. I mean, people talk about civilian deaths. No, it's not comparable. Not with numbers like 77 men for every 100 women in Russia, or 90 men for every 100 women in the UK. And Germany got hit bad. France got hit bad. These are huge rates of death. And their blood bought the stability that we are now pissing away.
Mm-hmm.
And we refuse to explicitly acknowledge that. And she lives in a world entirely constructed by men's sacrifice. It is the air, it is the water. She's a fish. And that is the water she exists within, and she can't see it because she exists within it.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't even understand what she's saying when she says, I'll live a life without men. Really? Okay. Well, go walk into the woods, but you'd still, like, you wouldn't survive, for one. For second, if you're using any tools that our society uses, you are still benefiting from a society sacrificed for, constructed, and built by men. And I'm not saying women didn't do anything, but let's be honest here. Who is the ones doing the work that really needs to get done? The work that keeps the lights on, the work that keeps the sewers running, the work that keeps our water flowing.
Mm-hmm.
It's men. And she just, like, a life without men, really? I don't think you're living that at all.
No, you're not.
Anyway.
Anyway, that's the end of the article. I don't know if you have any final thoughts on it, or if we basically gave it, a good rogering.
A really good rogering.
Yes.
Rogering.
A really good rogering.
I think my final analysis is just leave the gay guys alone.
Speaking of rogering.
Let them have their nude freaking pool. My God.
Let them have their thing.
Yes, let them have their thing.
Yeah. Yeah, leave men alone, basically. Like, when they want to be alone, leave them alone.
Yeah. And also, straight men should be able to have their own thing. That's male only. It shouldn't just be, gay men that are allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And when men make a thing, women are not automatically entitled to it. Like, that's the thing. Like, this was what really blew my mind a while back. I was just thinking, as I do, and I was chewing over people's preconceptions. And then it just occurred to me, we have a sense that if men build something, like, men could go out in the middle of goddamn nowhere and build something. Just men. They just sort of coalesce, like, those boys on the beach, and they built that, they dug that hole. Remember that?
Yeah.
And the more boys gathered and the hole got deeper, they'll just go out. Men will go out and they'll just build something. All by themselves, all under their own initiative, using only their own labor and resources. And then women will just somehow sort of trail in there and be like, yeah, you owe us half. By what metric? And this is what's so crazy. I was like thinking about this. This absolutely doesn't hold the other way. If women had done that, that would be considered in perpetuity just for women. If they had built something with their own, if they built something with men's resources, like domestic violence shelters, they consider it their own. And that men shouldn't be able to have a toe, a finger in there.
Yeah.
So where did that idea come from, that if men go off and build something, women are owed? And I realized it's instinctual. It's freaking instinctual. Men concede to it because it's an instinct to protect and provide for women.
Yeah.
And we all believe that women are entitled because we're dictated to by our instincts. There's nothing just or fair or equitable in the expectation that men just simply deliver up the things that they do to women.
Yeah.
There's no equality in that. Anyway.
No, of course not.
All
right. So, yeah. What?
And even if that thing is just a space where they're like display their bodies, it's still, women are apparently owed. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh man. Humans. Okay.
All right. So that's the end of the article. Let us know what you guys think about that in the comments. I guess we got a couple of other things we could look at, or at least one more thing. So
yeah.
This is we have a space in our Discord called Masculinity is Awesome, right? Mm-hmm. And people post articles, videos, and images of basically like shows like, The Good in Men. And so I thought we would take a look at this. Are you looking?
There's also a little
Allison?
chaser. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
looking.
it's a
I'm
little-
looking. I'm seeing.
Just a little
It's a
chaser
little-
after the cringe.
Yeah.
Speaking of pools and water. All right, so here's a man playing with a dolphin, but the dolphin's in water and he's like outside looking in.
You like that?
Maybe he knows something about dolphins.
Oh my god.
No, I think he's just being. It's just screwing around.
Oh my god, this is so cool.
I guarantee that men do spend more time thinking about doing cartwheels with dolphins than they think than whatever feminists think men think.
Yeah.
This is so
Look how excited he is.
Oh my god.
So
Uh,
yeah.
well, I was just gonna say there is one thing that's neotenous about men. They have a stronger sense of play throughout their lives,
Yeah.
which I think inspires a lot of creativity, and women could learn from that.
Mm.
Instead of self-righteous pooping, how about fart jokes?
Yeah, how about that? I'm
How
down.
about that? Okay, I think that's good. But if you guys wanna help us out, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. I wanna space it out so that we can like give a little bit of like pro male tapas at the end. So maybe that these stories aren't quite as depressing. I don't think this story was particularly depressing. It was just
No,
cringeworthy.
I think everyone like I didn't see anyone in the comment section saying that woman is right, give her the space. I mean, granted, it was a gay magazine with gay men commenting saying, "What are you doing here, hag?" But but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you well, here's the thing, okay, to gay men out there. If you think that inclusion is so important, remember that this is the kind of inclusion you're going to get. And you don't get to pick and choose. So either people can have their own spaces and they have the option of choosing who to associate with and who not to, regardless of how you might feel about it, because that includes you, or they're not, and anyone can just force themselves into your space because you're not allowed to discriminate. So maybe we
Consider that.
you should consider that, because when it comes to like the way that the left labels marginalized groups, gay men are at the top of the list. So they're the first one. I mean, they were already knocked down a peg when they changed the acronym from GLBT to LGBT. So consider that. All right, anyway.
Indeed. All right. So if you want to support the show, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. Please, if you enjoy this content, please consider tipping us so that we know that you like this. If you like this kind of content, you can send us a message and say, hey, I would like to see more shorter shows that delve into the politics of resentment and the progressive stack eating itself and women wanting every single male space on the planet to be accessible to them, while complaining if their spaces get so-called invaded by people who actively seek to appear like them and act like them. I mean, think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Men have to give up their spaces, and the women who go in it can continue to demand that those spaces cater to them, change for them, and that they don't have to conform to the culture of those spaces. At the very least, trans women, when they go into a woman's space, many of them, are actually trying to be women in whatever value of women there is.
Yeah.
Because, what is a woman? But regardless, so if you want to hear more content like that, just send us a super chat and tell us. So once again, that's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. Very much appreciated to everybody who supports us, because you are the reason why we continue to be here and haven't disappeared into the murky depths of censorship. And if you'd like to join our community, you can do so at badgernation.online. And then you can also put suggestions through. I believe that is in the free section. So badgernation.online to join our community, feedthebadger.com/justthetip to support us. Back to you, Brian.
All right. So if you guys like this video, please smash like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on today's show. The link to the article is in the description. And please, please, please share this video because sharing is caring. Thanks, guys, so much for coming on today's episode of Maintaining Frame. And we will talk to you all in the next video.
Right, activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.